Hey everyone, welcome to Source It Up. I want to go over our sales from last week. We sold about $4,752 on eBay. Now, I don't know if you guys were watching on my Instagram, but I shared a screenshot of our last 60 days. You know how it shows you on the eBay app, your sales for the last 60 days. It was around 41,000. I want to get it to 50,000. And if I want to get it there, when I get to 50,000 divided by 8 weeks, I need 6,250 per week. So we're a little lower than that. We're not reaching that goal. This week we didn't have nearly as many auctions end, and we had a lot of them. As you can see, some of these days, one day was over 1,000. The rest were between 5 and 800, maybe 4 to 800 ish. So I'll be working on that, but I want to go over what's sold this week and show you guys and give you guys some tips. So we got some cards here again with the DVD lots. So when I saw these knives, I just grabbed them. I thought they were going to be more expensive than they were. I did pay $4.99 each. We only ended up selling them for $12. I kind of just made the money back. So you got to be careful. Not all German looking or stuff from Europe, that looks really cool. Not all of it's worth money. You got to check it out. So I would probably maybe could have gotten more for that. Actually, it was sitting for a little while. We also started, I remember last week telling you guys we're going to list a lot of stuff for $3 with $3 shipping and see how that goes. Here's one of them. Some more cards. Here's another one where we listed a bunch for $3 and a bunch for $5. Here's a $5 one. This was sitting for quite a while, but it sold. I think I got this part of a bulk deal. Selling controllers separately. Some of these DVD sets sell pretty nice, 25 bucks. If you do Pokemon cards, the Trainer Challenge Pokemon Online codes sell like really quick for $5 each. You can get a little more, but you gotta wait. This was pretty cool. For this whole DVD set, they only charged me for one DVD. There was no price on it or anything, so I ended up paying like only $2.99 for this at Savers. So this was really great. I had it on auction to see because not many were listed, so I had it on auction. Nobody bought it. I think for $75 on auction. I listed it for $70. It sold like very quick within a day. Leapfrog stuff is great. For some reason, I think I mentioned last week, we were having some issues sending in used Leapfrog stuff into Amazon. I think that has been resolved. Otherwise, I would have sold this over there, but we sold it here. Sold fairly quickly, and we test all our electronics. One type of book to look out for is Lamplighter series. They're very, very well made, very high quality. You really can't miss the quality. But it's called Lamplighter. Lamplighter is really good. They do audio dramas as well. Vinyl here. We had some. Okay, so here's some auctions that ended. This ended once. They didn't pay, and so I auctioned it off again. They paid immediately, and it was great. Shipped it out. With stuff like this, we do add insurance. Once in a while, I had some bad experiences with signature confirmation. Plus, you got to let the customer know about it. So that they don't get, so that they make sure they're home and they're keeping track of that, which they probably will be anyway, but some people don't, and you just got to let them know. But sometimes I don't use signature confirmation. This was kind of like borderline as far as price because it's an extra few dollars, but we ended up not, but I did add insurance on this. A couple auctions ending. As you can see, some of these lots do well and some don't. I'm probably going to just list them all in the future for $20 to $25 each, depending on the cards. For I just, because when I sort them out, I take all the cards that I want to put and sell individually and in smaller lots out, and then everything else gets put into these lots, and then I just do them 400 at a time. Street Sharks is pretty good, not awesome. Probably could have got a little more if I did buy it now. Got these, I think, all together for $2 or $3.99. This was missing a figure. Got it for, I think, $2.99. and we didn't pay that much for shipping, I don't think. So we did make a little bit on that. Any Monster Jam Hot Wheels stuff does well. This was, I think this was, we sent it into Amazon. It got sent back for some reason, so we just listed it. Sold quickly. Some of these old, weird looking, almost like fake looking Japanese Pokemon sticker cards. They look weird, you know, like almost like they're fake, but they're not, and they sell pretty well. So I sell a few a month, and we have a bunch listed. I think maybe most of them sold, but they sell like $8 to $10 each, $5 to $10 each. Here's a bunch of auctions that ended. I did buy, so what I did was I bought 4 or 5 booster boxes, or maybe 6. I bought a case basically of booster boxes of the new set. I wanted to see if I could make some money on it. So far I probably profited just maybe 100 or 150 bucks. Not worth the time, unless you do like 100 cases or 100 booster boxes or more. Then you know, let's say you make $100 profit per case. You're making, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 for maybe 2 days worth of work plus all the shipping. So yeah, I just wanted to check it out. Plus I get those points on my credit card. Some of these cards are selling like crazy. So auction off a bunch. Yu-Gi-Oh cards do well too. So I'm going to scroll through these cards pretty quick. Another vinyl. So this was pretty cool. It looked like older, which it really wasn't that old. And it was electronic, so I just scooped it up without really looking it up. And it sold for $15. I think it was like $1.99 or $2.99. Here's one of those. These in the larger quantities, or like, you know, the 24 or the 36. These sell, like this sold instantly, and maybe not instantly, but very quickly. Here's another $5 one. As is for parts. So as you can see, these versions of the Xbox 360, you can get your money back at least if it doesn't work. Plus, let's say this came with wires and a controller, and those did work. You can sell those separately. These were sitting for a while, but they sold. So older video games like Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, the boxes only sell. Some of them sell like really well. I believe I've sold some for upwards of $100 just for the box. I've sold I don't know if you guys ever played Super Nintendo, but I'm kind of a nerd. And there's a game called Chrono Trigger, and just the map from that game, I think 2 or 3 months ago, I sold for $100 on auction to someone in New Zealand. Just the map that came with the box and the game. So some of these are very expensive, even if it doesn't come with the game. Like, I actually think we got this a lot. We had all these games. I sold them separately, and then I sold the boxes separately. And these aren't even in the best shape either. So this we got from Savers for I think $3 or $4.99. This sold quick. Anything Singer, don't get it, but look it up. And the old Singer sewing machines do very well. Here's another $3 one. This is an example of some of the game parts we sold. It was incomplete. If you guys didn't check out our whole testing electronics series, check that out. It's kind of like basic, but it gives you a good overview of what we do and how we do it. And one thing I've mentioned is we sell game parts. And so there's a Monopoly Disney edition. These are just the pewter moving pieces. And, you know, we throw all the keywords in there. And they sell for $10 plus $3 shipping. And I'm sure we didn't pay more than $1 or $2.99 for that game. So here's an example of a lot that didn't do well. So it is what it is. Alan Edmonds. This was a pair that I got, I think, in that huge haul last week. That was really cool. These guitars do very well. You got to make sure, number one, that they work. Usually when I'm in the store, I tip them left and right, see if there's anything shaking around, check if there's any corrosion in the batteries, and I'm only going to get the ones from now on that separate here so that they're easy to ship. I don't even know if the Xbox 360 ones come with a dongle or not. We may have just done this to be safe. Usually we'll test it. I'm actually not sure. The guys I have who test everything, they would know. But anyway, these guitars do well. You know, you see them in the thrift store for $2.99, $3.99. What we do is we take, there's two different sizes of mailing boxes. One fits inside the other, long ways. And I don't know if you guys know the medium flat rate box, not the skinnier one, the more narrow one. Slides in one end, and then you put the other one in. Yeah, maybe I'll make a video. It's hard to explain, but if you guys know what I'm saying, great. If not, then I'll eventually make a video. But that's pretty cool, and it's very easy to ship these with that way, and free box. So here's an example of just the box, $12.99. So we do, like, there's a lot of older Pokemon card accessories that came with certain things, and they sell pretty well. We do sell AC adapters. Here's some more auctions that I'm trying to experiment with, doing just a couple cards that are like creased up, and like these are like creased up. They're in bad shape, some of these, and they do decent. So here, these don't work, and we were able to get $70 for it plus shipping. I may have taken a best offer of 60, but still, that's pretty good. Vinyl record, cool little card here, so for 14. Here's an Italian Magic card, so for 18. Here's another $3 and $3. This actually isn't part of the $3 one. I just lowered this price. It's been sitting forever. These are 3 Polaroid cameras. These are untested. I think what happened was the cartridge we had was like on its way out, and so I wasn't sure if these worked or not. I do want to get that Polaroid tester thing. I should probably get that because we do come across these quite often, but I had one that had some battery left in it, a cartridge to test all these, and so I just wanted to get these out, and so we just loaded them up untested, and they sold. Even individually, these ones don't do that well, so it is what it is. This is a cool find last week, I believe. I got these hoodies. This one sold very quickly for $40. This is used, and these were maybe $5 or $6.99 at Savers. Trying to get into that clothing game. A couple auctions. We did quite a few auctions that didn't end well. I think our lister's experimenting a little bit with the auction, and the problem is with clothing is sometimes it's hard to find the exact one that let me just scroll it down. Let's go up. It's hard to find the exact one that is in that this like looks like, so you know, with clothing and shoes. So I think that's what happened here. Probably just gonna do here's one that did sell. So these all sell, they just may take a little longer and not do well on auction. So it is what it is. Oh, this was pretty cool. One person bought all these, so we're selling these Stratego pieces separately, and this is to the older one, the 1975 one. And so this person paid over $12, but he had 15% off, so maybe, you know, 10 or 11 bucks, but for 3 pieces of a game, and we still have a lot of those pieces left. So, you know, yeah, this was sitting for a little while, but it doesn't take up a lot of space, and I mean, just that's pretty cool. So in first class, this I did pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I probably paid a little too much for this. We only made maybe $10 profit. Though we could have got some more. Maybe we should have listed that higher. This was actually part GameStop. Once in a while has some really cool clearance sales. They mark things down a lot on clearance, and then they have sales where it's 50% off clearance. So let's say this shirt was $2.99 half off, $2.99 on clearance, and then you get half off. So I would get these shirts for $1.50. So I bought like 50 of them or 100 of them at one time, and they slowly sell. Now I'm getting to the last like small box that I have, maybe 20 or 30 shirts left, and they're slowly selling, but they still sell. And I've lowered them all, I think, to around $10. This was a pretty cool find. This was, I think, $4 or $5.99. Sold very quickly. This we found at Savers for maybe, I think I paid up for this like $19.99, but we had 30% off. But that sold fairly quickly. This worked but didn't have a battery. We probably could have got more for it, or maybe we should have just bought the battery and sold it on Amazon. Either way, I think I just wanted to get this quickly out of our inventory. This is from a storage unit, and this was from the huge plush lot. So with plush, we don't clean them. And, you know, if they're dirty, I don't usually buy them. Unless it's like a $150 plush or $100 plush or even a $50 plush that's a little dirty, okay. You can just take pictures and say, you know, it has some wear and some stains, whatever it has. But we don't really go through the trouble of cleaning these. People know when you're buying something used on eBay, you know, even if we clean it, it's just responsible to clean it again yourself, so you know it's done well when you get it anyway. Especially if you're going to give something like this to your child, or even if it's just going to sit on a shelf, you don't know where it comes from. So, you know, people know that when you're buying pre-owned clothing, pre-owned plush on eBay. So we just kind of, you know, and these were in excellent shape anyway, so, but I would buy something if it's even a little worn. If it has like those like little hairs on it and stuff, you just take a piece of tape and you just wipe it off, and we do that sometimes as well. But as far as like washing it and stuff, we really don't do that. We do clean our shoes, and you know, just all at one time. Like, let's say we get a couple pairs of shoes throughout the week, we'll just fill up a big tote with shoes and then clean them all at once. This was cool. Did sell this pair here. I think we got them for probably under $10. You know, not great profit flips this week. You know, this week was very interesting. I know it gets a little slow in February, and we didn't really do anything too creative. So I really got to figure things out if I want to keep these numbers up. So this is just from our house. We really didn't want to use this anymore. It was really annoying. This it looks cool, but we're just gonna stick with our upright towel holder for now. I got these part of actually from GameStop. They had half off, half clearance, and they put all their Pokemon cards on clearance. So I was getting like ridiculous deals on the Pokemon cards, and some of them came with pins. So I had probably like 20 of these or more. And so when this was kind of not a replenishable but a multiple, and so that's when I will list stuff for this, because after shipping and fees, you're still making $2, $3, $4 per, and you know, multiply by 20, so it's you know, it was like $80 we made over the course of this, so it was pretty cool. Here's a 3 and 3. Not a big fan of doing shoes on unless they're like really collectible. I'm probably gonna or clothing as well. I'm probably gonna put an end to a lot of that. If we have something really unique, okay, or if we have stuff that's sitting for a while, that's another thing. This when I picked it up, I actually thought it was football, because the football one sells for a lot more. But this was the baseball one. I don't know what I was thinking. I was buying a bunch at one time. I almost paid like, I think almost $40 for it. Thank God we made our money back. But yeah, this was just make our money back. So I'm not perfect, guys, and I do make mistakes. But as long, you know, I do buy things that we at least can make our money back. Very few things we donate. So this was something, again, you know, Harry Potter, I picked it up. Maybe could have got more. It sold very, very fast. But we only paid, I think, $2 or $3.99 for it. Excuse me. Okay. So this was another thing. Paid a few dollars for it. This sold very fast. Harry Potter stuff does well. This person bought both of these, and this is actually, I used to go dumpster diving at GameStop for fun. Well, and one really good source is dumpsters for certain things. First time I went, it was kind of like a little weird, but then you get the hang of it. You bring some gloves, bring a little light, and you go after the stores close, and it was fun, and exciting a little bit. And we would go there, and then there is one place where I do actually. We went for a while and we stopped going, but there's libraries have the recycle bins, and there's no trash in there. It's just recycled paper, and at libraries it's mostly books. So you go and you can figure out which libraries don't lock their recycling bins, figure out what night of the week that they recycle their books, or do usually there's one day where they just clean up and throw everything in there, and then you go after they close that night, and you basically get a free huge thing of books. You can either take them all or just scan them while you're there. We used to do that for a while, and sometimes we make a few $100s. So that's a cool recommendation. If you have no money to start, there's a lot of free places. Like we did go to GameStop and find one time a huge box of promo Lego minifigures and strategy guides, and I think we made a few $100s off of that one thing. And then we found consoles that work and video games and stuff, so it was pretty interesting. Brother typewriters are one thing that I will pick up. The only thing is you really got to test them, and sometimes that can be annoying, but they do sell quick and bring in good money. I think we sold one last week or the week before for $140, but it had an issue and I had to give them a partial refund. Not fun. Yeah, you gotta look at those stamps. These stamps, some of them are like really unique, and they're not just like a date stamp. This is some interesting numbering machine stamp, so it's pretty cool. So you gotta check those out. You'd figure maybe old figures do well. Some of them don't. We got this part of a larger lot, and yeah. So I got a huge thing of plush. Oh, where are we? We're going to the 24th. Yes, okay. So we did get a huge lot of Pokemon plush that we're selling. I bought it in a big bundle, and we're selling a lot of them individually. And the ones that don't sell individually, we'll just sell it in another lot. But this was, some of them sell individually very well. DS games, again, if they don't sell well individually, you can line them up and they do well. These are broken systems. These ones are the first version of it. They don't really do as well, but take the hard drives off, sell those hard drives separately, or save them for other systems. These weren't sitting too long, but yeah, this was sitting forever. But we got it part of a larger lot again, and a lot of the stuff it'll slowly sell, but it just adds to your bottom line. This was pretty cool. Was this part of a lot too? This may have been, but this little basically squeezes down into this little tiny bag. You can literally fit this whole duffel bag in your pocket. It's pretty cool. These had a bunch of watchers. I'm gonna relist these for maybe like $20 each. I believe they should be first class. But we just wanted to see if, because again, it's hard to find the specific ones, and if you don't know, then you could have something rare. So we just threw that up. These are plastic though. This was cool, and this was unassembled, but it was like some of the parts were painted and stuff. Brand new, this sells for $100 or over $100. But because it was in the condition it was, we could have probably maybe got a little more, but this was quick, and I think we only paid maybe $4.99. So we do pretty well with the toys. This I got for maybe $2 or $3.99 from Savers. This we paid up maybe $10 to $15 at Savers, but this sold almost instantly. Another person bought these. So again, game parts. Already, just from this one game, we have more parts left, and we already made $20 off the pieces. Console only we sold here. Here's one of those $5 items that sold. This was part of a storage unit. Some of these Bibles are still selling. This is part of the $3 one. Another plush. This is just a small figure. It sold for $8.50. So you got to look at those little bags of figures everywhere, or at garage sales. you know, if you buy a bag with 10 of these or 5 of these and you sell each for $8, bam, there's $40. You just got to know how to title them. Always measure your figures, because it's hard to tell from the picture how large it is. These pens do very well. Should have probably priced this higher. This sold very quick. This was sitting for a little while, but the screens that go on, because it's untested and we have no cables, well, it is working technically. I don't know if we were able to fully test it. But anyway, this goes on top of consoles. So like your GameCube, your I think this is for the PlayStation, for PS2, yeah. So this goes on top of your console. It's a screen. It folds down. Those are worth money. Some of them are worth a lot. So you got to keep an eye out for that. This was because these were the $5 ones, but I just did a sale. I don't do many sales, but again, this is kind of a slow month, so you know, historically, not just for us, but for everyone. So we're still doing well, but you know, it's a little bit of a slowdown. Kind of noticing it. This is one of my replenishable Pokemon card lots. I pay for the subtitle and bold title and everything. I'm trying to really do this, but I'm also doing it at a price that I would be okay selling it for. It's $24.99, but someone bought it on a sale. Another one of those plush. A couple more things here. Book lots. Like, these books really don't sell at all. And we're like, you know what? They look in great condition. We'll pop them together. Like, I don't think these books in a lot were ever sold before on eBay. But stuff like this, just title it well. Someone's going to look for the author, or sleep disorders, or Bible cure, or something, and they'll come across this listing, and you price it right. And you know, you basically, when you get things for little to nothing, you know, it depends on your setup and your time. You know, is it really worth your time? And so you gotta balance all that out. Because some people have such limited time, you really don't want to waste your time on small, petty things like this. But our model is crank out volume, and this all adds up. If you sell, let's say, 1,000 of these over the course of the month, that's $7,000 in sales. And it would take, you know, if you're doing all of the same items shipping out, you know, anyway, I'm not even going to go down that road. We're at the 23rd here, some more cards. Again, video game stuff does great. So with the vinyl records, this was 2 of his vinyls, and because they don't really sell well individually, so we popped 2 of them together from the same artist, and that sold. So that's another creative way of doing that. This week, I think we I had one of my guys who had a Wii U take it home and test it, because it just came like this in a lot we got. Usually this comes with the screen and the cables and everything, so we didn't have that. So one of them tested it. It works, and we sold just the unit only for $68. Part of the Pokemon plush lot. These old vintage HO scale trains. HO scale trains is a couple different brands. One of them is Bachman. The other one is this name word right here, Athern. There's a couple other ones that do well, but this sold pretty quick. I got this with a bunch of other ones in a bag for $4.99 or $3.99 or something, and one of them already sold for $21 plus $10 shipping. This is pretty cool. This is pretty heavy. I got this at Goodwill a long time ago for $4.99, but it finally sold for $38. But it's good flip, good profit. Hopefully our shipping isn't too much, because they only paid a flat $15, so we'll see. We're still on the 23rd. This was if you have like just this is to something it wasn't complete, so we sold the parts separately, and here's the receiver for it. So people look for this stuff. $11. Vinyl record. Trying to sell these clothing items. Again, these maybe we shouldn't have bought. I'm learning clothing, and one way to learn is just by buying it and trying to sell it. And yeah, okay, we maybe only made a few dollars profit on each of these, but now I'm learning what sells, what doesn't, what sells quick, what doesn't sell quick, and then now I'm not going to buy this again. But we made a couple dollars profit, and I learned something. So that's a great way to learn, is by buying things that you think will sell, and if it doesn't, Okay, you've learned your lesson, and if it does, you may only make a few dollars, but you also learned something as well. Or it could be a lot higher, and let's say you price this at $40 and it's not selling forever, and you lower the price, you keep lowering it, and it finally sells at 17. Now you know. And that's why also when you buy stuff, it's very important to list it right away so that you can get that feedback and can keep your eye out for something. Because you could be buying this, these types of items 4, 5, 6 times before it even gets listed, and then now you realize, oh, I shouldn't have bought it. It doesn't sell that well, and now you got to move past all of that. So when you are experimenting, it's important to get these things listed fast. Cool Pokemon card, another one of those plush. So these are part of the other plush thing. I blotted these up, all part of the Wizard of Oz. This is from a storage unit, an old cell phone, BlackBerry. So we are on the 24th, another one of those plush. So I probably paid for maybe 5 or 6 of these in each bag for $4.99. You saw one sold previously for $14. These 2 lots here, this lot sold for $17. This lot sold for $20. So already I made probably all the money back that I spent on all of them, and I have a whole bunch left. So this is what we do with a lot of the vinyls that don't sell well. We'll lot them up and maybe try and get $1 or a little bit less than $1 each. And we'll put them in similar genres. Nothing too crazy this week, just a lot of little things. But 4,000 and change in sales. What was it, 4,700? Yeah. So, and we sold 283 items, which was around a $16 ASP. Not that great, but again, we do volume. I would rather have a $32 ASP and sell half as many, 140 items, but we are not there yet. And also you got to consider the fact that we sell a lot of, $1, $2, $3, $4 Pokemon cards and Magic cards, which take considerably less time to list and ship. So that considered, our ASP is higher, but at the same time, it's nothing too glamorous. And this was one I think we got from GameStop as well. Probably paid $5 for that backpack. This is the second one we sold. So this is just a bag with the word Canon on it, but it had like an item number or a product or model number on it. So we searched it, and wow, I'm like, okay, that bag sells. So we got an extra $8 for a little bag that has the name Canon on it that holds something specific. So always be looking up the stuff, see if it's worth. You'd be surprised some things, like we got a Rolex box that didn't have a Rolex in it, and we were able to sell that box only for $100, and it sold within like 1 or 2 days. So always keep an eye out for that stuff. Again, the guitar, this was before I stopped buying the ones that separate. This one doesn't separate. It is a pain to ship, but we did it, and we made $25 on that one. Some PS2 games sell very well. This sold on here. I think it got returned from Amazon. So we retested it because it was pretty scratched up, made sure it worked, and then put in the notes it has like moderate to heavy wear, but was tested and works well. And it was able to sell still for $25. And I like doing the things that are a little worn more on eBay. Probably should have sold it there to begin with, but anyway. This was something, this is like a huge like home integrated remote commander. Some really cool remote inside this box here. Probably should have had that as the main picture. But looks can be deceiving. I thought this thing was going to be super expensive, and it only sold for $12.75. Okay, so we're at the 25th. So again, nothing crazy this week, but keep in mind, guys, this is how you do volume on here. I do have, just real quick, I do have a setup. We have in the morning, I pick all the things that are in my house, like Pokemon cards. There's a couple things in my garage maybe that sold from a few months ago. We didn't move all our storage over, so I'll get all that. I'll bring that down to the warehouse. One guy will help pack everything up, and the other guy will be in charge of just weighing it and printing out the labels. And I found that doing that together avoids mistakes, because one person may catch something the other person doesn't. Our mistakes have gone way down as opposed to when one person's doing it. If they get distracted, that's very bad, but usually two people, at least one person's paying attention. Plus they do it twice as fast, and they're not waiting for one another. So if one person's packing something, the other person isn't just waiting for that person to pack it. They are packing something else, or shipping out the cards, or taking care of emails. So one guy, he comes in, he checks all the messages to make sure there's no canceled orders, make sure there's no address changes, make sure there's no issues. And so by the time he's done with that, the other guy has a bunch of stuff packed up ready to go. So the other guy weighs it and ships it out. We use Shipping Easy, which integrates everything all together, and it's very easy for us to also ship out the cards. I'll eventually do a whole tutorial on that, but it works pretty well, and that has evolved over time. It used to be one person doing that. It used to be one separate person shipping out the cards. Then I used to ship out the cards. Now, it's just. So I'm continually trying and testing out different things, and I encourage you guys to do that too, because you will figure out different ways that you like to do it, that fits better with your schedule, that works better, that helps you do it faster. So keep trying different things. And also the other thing is I listen to a lot of YouTube and podcasts. I read a lot of books. So, scratch the books part. For the past about year, I kind of stopped reading books, but I don't recommend that. There's something about reading books, but again, in an industry like this that is changing so fast, you really got to read stuff that's very, very recent. There are like general business books that you can read that are very beneficial, but that's why I like listening to YouTube and podcasts. It's more current stuff, but again, sometimes a lot of it is fluff. So anyway, hope you guys have a great sales week. Any questions, leave in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm gonna make like an official email that you guys can email questions to, and we can talk. But other than that, hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you guys next time.